You know, it's not every day that the news lines up so perfectly to give you a snapshot of a technology that's just completely transforming. But today, well, today is one of those days. We're seeing three huge, and at first glance, totally separate stories about AI all breaking at the same time. And trust me, they all connect.
So, first up, you got society basically scrambling to put up some guardrails. All around the world, lawmakers are in this mad dash to write a rulebook for a technology that's just evolving faster than anyone can really keep up with.
Then, at the very same moment, the actual physical engine of AI is being built on a scale that's, well, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around. This is the second piece of the puzzle, a massive global arms race for pure, raw computing power. And finally, we're seeing how all that power and all those new rules are starting to show up right there on your screen. They're making the tools you use every single day just smarter. So let's break down each piece of this, and we're going to start with the rules.
Okay, so our first stop is California. They just passed one of the biggest AI safety and transparency packages we've seen anywhere at the state level. And they're really trying to thread a tough needle here. How do you protect people without completely killing innovation?
What's so fascinating here is the balancing act you can see on this slide. Look at the left column. That's what passed. These are really specific protections, right? Things like making sure chatbots are safe for kids or banning an AI from pretending to be a doctor. But then look over on the right. The No Robo Bosses Act, that got vetoed. It was seen as just a step too far, way too broad. It's a perfect example of the struggle between making very targeted rules versus these sweeping, all-encompassing bans. And this is creating a really interesting split in the market. You've got California and platforms like Instagram building these higher walls to protect kids, but at the same time, a company like OpenAI is actually moving in the opposite direction for adults. They're rolling out age gating so that verified adults can have more freedom even in conversations about erotic topics. So the big takeaway here seems to be this new philosophy. It's not about being cautious everywhere for everyone, but about creating safety that depends on the context and, crucially, on your age.
Okay, so while the lawyers and politicians are hammering out the rules, the engineers are busy building the engine. And let me tell you, the sheer scale of what they're building is it's mind-boggling.
Just look at this number, 16 zettaflops. What on earth is a zettaflop? It's a 1 followed by 21 zeros. I mean, it's a number so big it almost doesn't mean anything. But this is the power of Oracle's brand new supercomputer, the very machine that's probably going to power the next-gen models from OpenAI. We are talking about a gigantic leap in raw horsepower.
And hey, it's not just Oracle. This whole industry is in a race to build this engine. You've got Oracle focusing on these huge computer clusters for the AI models themselves. Then you have NVIDIA, and they're basically trying to rewire the entire data center, making standard Ethernet the new superhighway for AI. That could make building these things cheaper and faster for everybody. And then there's AMD, creating what's essentially a set of high-tech Lego bricks, a standardized platform to build these city-sized data centers more efficiently. Each one is tackling a different bottleneck in this race for more power.
All right, so we've got the rules, we've got the engine, but how does all this, this abstract stuff actually show up for you? This is where these huge ideas become real, right inside the apps you're probably already using. Check this out. Google is now putting Gemini right inside Gmail to help with one of the most annoying tasks we all have, scheduling a meeting. And it's not just a little suggestion, it's the whole workflow. It reads the email, it looks at your calendar, it writes a draft reply with a few options, and then it even sends the final calendar invite. This is a perfect example of all that crazy computing power we were just talking about being boiled down into a simple feature that just makes your day a little less painful. And the progress isn't just in text, it's in images too. Microsoft just dropped its very first in-house image model. And from what we're hearing, it's already going toe-to-toe with the big names like DALL-E. Now, why does this matter? Well, when a company like Microsoft builds its own model, it gets way more control. And for you, that could mean images that generate faster, better safety features, and a smoother experience across all the Microsoft stuff you use, from Bing to Copilot. But here's the twist. Just as the technology gets technically flawless, no more pictures with creepy six-fingered hands, some of the actual creators are starting to feel a little let down. This quote from an AI artist, I think, just nails it. The technical skill is there. It's perfect. But is the artistic soul? Is the magic there? This is the brand new debate. We're moving past just making a wow image, and now we're asking if these tools can create something with real story, real depth. So let's zoom out and connect these three threads. The new rules, those massive supercomputers, and the smarter apps.
When you put them all together, you get a really clear picture of the fundamental conflict that's going to define the next few years in tech.
It really all comes down to this core tension. On one side, you've got the engine room, the hardware, the models, and their power is growing exponentially. It's like a rocket ship. But on the other side, you have us, society, trying to create rules and understand what it all means. And that process moves at a much slower, more methodical, linear pace. It's more like walking. And that growing gap between the rocket ship and the walker, that's the defining challenge of our time.
Which leaves us with the one question that really matters for this entire era. The engine is getting faster and faster, the apps are getting smarter every single day, but our rulebook, our societal safeguards are still being written. So, can our laws, our ethics, our norms, can they possibly evolve fast enough to steer a technology that's moving at this incredible speed? That's the question we're all going to be answering together, whether we're ready for it or not.